Okay, we're going to hear the presentation now. Sorry, New Freedom. We're going to hit that right after. If you would, New Freedom, come on up and let's, sorry for the wait. Apologize. Just waiting on another committee to get myself and Mr. Kavanaugh out, so that's done on my end. I don't know if Mr. Kavanaugh's going there right now. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for inviting us down. My name is Joe McDonald. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of New Freedom. And with your indulgence, Mr. Chairman, I want to explain the nature of our relationship just so.
Transparency, absolutely.
The chairman and I, senators, have known each other for a number of years, and we have co-labored in the reentry and justice-involved field. We are not politically aligned at all. We discovered that when we first met. You know the senator's politics. I am what they call a prenatal Democrat, but we are aligned.
We still love you, though.
I'm sorry?
We still love you, though.
We are friends.
Yes.
And we are brothers.
Yes.
And we are aligned in Christ.
Yes.
And as such, I wanted to bring that up because it is so important that you understand that our center, our movement has absolutely nothing to do with politics, which is why we're presenting it to you and why we want everyone, regardless of politics, to know you're invited to come visit us, and that I will send a van to pick you up if that would be easier if you want to coordinate it. And I'm not going to pitch it, but I will send a ride for you. Beyond that, I want to talk about a little bit about where the senator and I met. He was not a senator then, and I was not a CEO then. But we were serving people that were incarcerated, and we had met to figure out ideas on how best to do that. We were doing it one-off the best we could, and we got the opportunity, Senator Kern and I got the opportunity to go to the Tucson complex, go into the unit, and speak to about 118 men actively incarcerated. And at that meeting, we promised them that if they would write their name on a list, my wife would write them all a personal letter thanking them for coming. And they did that, and we did that, and that 118 handwritten letters written on my kitchen table became 7,000 men and women within the system today that New Freedom currently writes still handwritten letters to, building relationships with them. That is the secret sauce. Interestingly enough, Mr. Chairman, you just brought up the importance of volunteerism rather than being mandated to do something. We believe our reentry program is as successful as it is because we've mentored these men and women for 9 months to multiple years through handwritten letters and curriculum. And then when we've determined that we're a good fit for one another, they get a letter of acceptance, and their release address is to our center here that happens to reside in Senator Kern's district. We were able, as we grew our services, we were able to locate them all under one roof. We purchased what was a 4-point Sheraton at I-17 in Peoria, and we turned that convention location into the largest reentry center in the country. This is why we want the political folks in this state to be aware that we are here, that we are new, we are innovative, and you need to know about us because we're cross-political lines. So we bring about 400 men and women in every 90 days, about 120 a month graduate, 120 a month come in. We pick them up from the gate at prison, and we bring them straight to the center. We clothe them. We put them in rooms. They go from whatever their incarceration accommodations were to this hotel location, so they have a queen bed. The reason I'm describing it to you is that's part of the efficacy. People get into the system, they get a number, not a name, they lose their identity, and in order to restore people to useful citizens, which is all our goal, then we've got to restore their identity first. They had to volunteer to come to us, so they've served. Our average person has done 17 years, either in one sentence or collectively. So they're not people equipped to work in the world until we've treated them. Our system replicates a work week. So they come in, they get up in the morning early, they work out, they've got a fitness trainer assigned to them, then they go to breakfast, they go to therapy for 3 hours, they go to lunch, then they go to case management and peer support, learning how to tell their story better, to get them ready for the workforce. We get them driver's licenses, we get them Social Security cards, we get them vocational training. By the time we're done with them, they're completely ready. No one ever graduates from New Freedom without a job that's a livable wage, $18 an hour or higher, and they all have safe housing. It's not an easy feat, but we have lots of people aligned to do it. I think the reason, Mr. Chairman, that you invited us down here today is that you're ready to let everyone know the secret that you know and have known all along, that we've got this magnificent movement happening in your state. And we want you all as policymakers to come visit us, and we want you to answer any questions you might have about who we are and how we do it for yourselves, because we believe in voluntary buy-in, but we've never met anyone that came in and walked in and saw what we did, even our opponents, to not leave often with tears running down their cheeks, but with a new sense of joy and hope.
And to that point, I mean, it's a long history, and I don't want to belabor anything you just said or the history behind you and I, but it is non-political. And if we could keep politics out of it, and if we really want to help the people that need the help, like that young lady that was here earlier, I almost shouted out, "New Freedom, go to New Freedom, go to New Freedom," to her, because I've seen a program that actually absolutely works, and the recidivism rate is like, what, 98%?
If they graduate, it's 97% chance that they will not reoffend, according to our stats. But Kyle's going to go into that.
Yes, he will.
I don't want to steal his thunder.
Right, yeah. But it is non-political. You've had Governor Hobbs there. You've had Carrie Lake there. You've had myself there. You've had several political people from both sides of the aisle there. So if we could keep politics out of it, I will ask you to help me set up a tour over there and get a van, and I open it up to any committee member to take that tour. We'll throw a lunch in there, I'm sure. So, okay, were you done, sir?
One more ask,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
My grandfather's picture hangs in your chamber, and someday I'd like an invitation to come in and take a picture of it.
Absolutely. Well, if you hang out after this committee, I'll take you there, and I'd like to see where that's at. What's his name?
Clarence Carpenter. He's probably one of the longest serving Senate presidents ever in the history of Arizona.
You're kidding. Wow, I did not know that. Wow, okay, yeah. I'd like to see where that's at.
All right, I'm going to let Kyle do
Thank
his thing.
you, Joe. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
And Joe, just before you leave, this started, the first time I met Joe was what, 6, 7, 8 years ago?
It's been a while now.
Been a while, yeah. And it was on a guy, Justin Peru, he was here earlier, he left, who goes to my church. He actually set me up with Joe McDonald, Joe Chipetta. And it was on a little office complex over on 24th Street and Broadway. And they told me about this vision, and I'm like, wow, that's a good idea. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, that's going to take a miracle of God. And it did. And their facility today is phenomenal. I-17 in Peoria. It's called New Freedom. You ought to check it out. It's fantastic. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Mr. Kyle. If you could state your name for the record.
Kyle Harless. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Name's Kyle Harless. I've been serving alongside Joe McDonald for roughly 9 years or so in recovery, as well as the reentry communities, and I'm also one of the founders of New Freedom.
Yeah, if you could move that microphone just a little closer, sir.
All right. How's that?
That's very good.
All right. So we often get asked what makes New Freedom different, and Joe was able to provide a lot of color to that. But for me, I find it difficult to explain without actually being there. There's something about the atmospherics of the facility. There's an energy with the camaraderie between our staff and our members. But that's all right. All right. Just to highlight some differentiating factors, out of the thousands that have come to us, every single one of them we have picked up individually from prison. This is from a peer support driver, someone who's been there in their shoes, and they come back to the center together for that first experience. The facility, it's 144,000 square feet and has 248 rooms. There's an interior and an exterior pool. Each one of these rooms is 250 square feet, so we're able to comfortably house no more than 2 per room. 3 healthy meals a day. We serve for our members, but also our staff. It's all you can eat, by the way, so when it comes time for that lunch,
We'll be there.
But when we're at full capacity, we're producing anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 meals in a day out of a 7,000 square foot commercial kitchen.
So to that point, Kyle, who prepares the meals?
We have a executive chef, a sous chef, and probably 12,
But
14
don't you
cooks.
like a program there that trains these people who want to go into that
Yeah.
field, that you train them to prepare the meals at the New Freedom?
Yeah, we have a vocational program. There's several different specific trades that we have classes for. Culinary is one of them. A part of our vocational program, we won't roll anything out unless if we have employers that are there to hire our members. So food industry's kind of been taking a hit lately.
Yeah, and how
But
many
we have people
employers
out
do you
there.
have right now that go in and train the members and?
20 to 24 probably. Yeah, it's a community effort. So you have multiple contractors that are pitching in for one particular class.
Yeah. And just, these are people that get out of prison that want to come to your facility.
Yes.
They are not mandated to come to your facility. They hear about the facility. As Joe McDonald was saying, the relationship is built going, while they're still in prison. And his
Correct.
wife Denise writes these letters, keeps that communication open, letting them know that there's a clean bed, there's 2 per room, like you said, and there's a facility waiting for you that'll get you the treatment with a 97% success rate.
30.8, so 96% for graduations. Yeah.
Sorry.
I like to be.
I like
right on the
97
number.
better.
Yeah. Gotcha. But yeah, it's another differentiating factor that I'm not aware of anywhere else is doing. You know, we know these individuals well before they ever come to New Freedom. We like to talk to them at least 3 months before their release, but oftentimes we're talking to them anywhere from a year to 2 years. It can be people that are doing life sentences as well that may never get out, but we're having a lot of success with
And if I
clemency.
could just, because I want the members to kind of know on layman's terms, which is what I relate on, how many of these people that get out of prison, they go through the training program, they go through the 90-day program, I guess, after the 90 days, they're actually released, they're free to.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
discharged, yeah.
But how many of those literally come back and are employed by New Freedom?
Right now, out of our 260 staff, we anywhere from 35 to 40 right now. I mean, the vision at the end of the day, you know, if you're providing direct services, we'd like it to be a member at the end of the day. You know, it's designed as a peer-to-peer driven movement, and there's a lot of evidence-based now that's coming out that there's value to that. If you've lived in that, you know, environment,
Yeah.
there's a connection there.
And one of the things that I just, you know, I'll try to say it without choking up a little bit, because I do care about people. I don't care about government a whole lot. That being said, when I go there, and when you go there, pull some of these people off to the side and just ask them questions. There was a guy there, I mean, you know, if you saw him on the street, you'd probably be a little terrified. But I said, what do you like about this place? He said, and everybody will say, because of the love and the belonging that they feel when they go there. They feel like they're loved. A lot of these people didn't have, you know, a stable home. They didn't have the resource. They didn't have all kinds of stuff. But they get into New Freedom. They feel that, hey, we want to help you, and we're here to help you. And that is, to me, the biggest thing that I see in the whole operation. So
Yeah.
I'll quit talking, Kyle. Thank you.
That's all right. That's all right. But yeah, to your point, 80% of our staff have lived experience, whether that's from substance abuse or incarceration. So we're able to relate, you know, on a granular level. So back to those stats, those outcomes, I can't give a recidivism stat by definition. That's a 3-year review. We've only been operating for a little over 2 years, but within that time, we did do a study of our 2021 intakes. This is 1,100 individuals, and our members come from all levels of custody. So that's low, high, short-term, long-term sentences. Out of those 1,100 individuals, only 13% have gone back. So that's an overall, rate where we're at up to that point of the study, and to our graduates, it's 96%. So what's the value of that, right? Like, what's the value to the state? We've estimated the cost of every one of their crimes, the cost of the incarceration, their community corrections, lost wages, as long as lost revenue to the state because of their length of stay. We've estimated a savings of $94 million just from that group alone from 2021. It's including the cost of our programs, and it comes down to about $88,000 in savings per individual that comes through the program. Interestingly enough, in 2021, we weren't even at full capacity. This last year, we served 600 more than 2021. So if our cost of crimes and efficacy rating remain relatively the same, we're looking at an estimated projected $145 million in savings for 2022. Keep in mind, this is from one facility. We do have plans to hopefully be opening a women's facility in Q2 of this year. So
In the same area, correct?
Same area, yeah. We're 101 and 17.
Yeah.
So, but to Joe's point, we have no request of the committee today. We do hope you find time to come in and meet our staff and meet our members. We're brothers and sisters at the end of the day, so we'd really love to introduce them to you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'll be working with Joe to set that up. So, and members, any questions? Go ahead. Yeah, Senator Marsh.
Thank you for being here. This sounds like a very impressive organization. I was just curious, do you fold family members in, like their family day or like whatever? I was just curious how these folks, family and extended, friend group, if they are included in any way, even in a small way.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, sir.
Senator, we do, with this caveat, we opened in the very beginnings and through the height of COVID. So visitation was limited to controllable events, and because there's 400 men and women there at any given time, plus our 200 staff, most of the reunification events happen outside of the center rather than in, but they have a phone so that they can talk right away. We issue it right away. So we're integrating them to the extent that we can possible, realizing that we're working with a population coming out of a petri dish, and we've got to get their health stabilized, and we don't want a lot of comings and goings, if that makes any sense.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Marsh, any other follow-up?
No, thank you.
Okay. Senator Hernandez.
Not a question. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not a question, comment. Thank you for coming in and sharing this information, and I will happily take you up on that tour offer.
Oh. Thank you, Senator Hernandez. Okay, members, any other questions? All right. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate your waiting, and keep up the good work. If you see anything, in the pike, let me know.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senators, we appreciate your time.
And would love to see your grandfather.
Yes.
The portrait. Yeah, don't leave. I'd like to see where that's at.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir.
Last bill.
Okay, last bill. Senate Bill